Good morning, Joe. Lots of sunshine out there to kickstart our Monday morning. A lot quieter than how our Saturday was, for sure. Sunday was definitely a welcome sight. In Springfield, we are waking up to crystal clear conditions. High pressure going to really dominate our weather pattern throughout the next couple of days, so expect more of the same. And also, if you're not a fan of all this kind of chill, if you will, we'll be warming up too. Temperatures right now, some spots like Lake Ozark in the upper 20s compared to just about freezing in Springfield. It's 43 in Branson, upper 20s, another chilly reading heading southwestward toward Fayetteville, Arkansas. The winds, kind of remember that direction. We've been talking about that from the south to southwest here today. That will help our temperatures actually cruise upward later on this afternoon, above average for this time of the year, starting below, rising above as we head toward 3 o'clock or so. If you are going to be out walking your furry friends, no problems either. I wanted to introduce you to Aida, just adorable. Thanks for sending these in. And remember, you can head on over to ozarksfirst.com to send us these wagging and walking photos. Temperature is going to be near 60 degrees through midday, 4 o'clock. We're back into the upper 50s. Really quite the nice day today. We are tracking, of course, the warmth, lots of sunshine, but more weekend rain possibly, and I'll have that in the 70 forecast in just a bit. Joe?
All right, thank you, TJ. Operation Christmas Child works to provide God's love to children around the world. Nigel McDonald found out about this, and she met with some local volunteers. She's in studio now to share how you can actually help them this holiday season. Nigel.
Yeah, Joe, well, good morning. The nonprofit's national week-long event begins today and will run through the 23rd. Now, during this time, the community is being asked to donate a shoebox filled with toys for a child in need. Now, you can pack a box for either a boy or girl aged 2 to 4, 5 to 9, or 10 to 14 years old. Logistics coordinator Chris McNeil says you're asked to pack the shoebox with toys, hygiene items, and school supplies.
One shoebox touches the life of one child. We don't look at the shoebox numbers just as numbers. We look at each one of those numbers as a child who has the opportunity to hear the gospel of Jesus Christ, to have their life changed. Many of the countries that receive the Operation Christmas Child shoeboxes, those kids cannot go to school unless they bring their own school supplies. So just by receiving a shoebox that's full of the hygiene items and the school supplies, that child has an opportunity to go to school now that maybe they didn't before.
Well, there's also an option to pack a box online for a child. This allows you to help the group while never having to leave your home. Visit our website for more on this and how to find the drop-off location closest to you.
Nigel McDonald reporting this morning. We've got some education coverage for you. Springfield Public School kindergarten to 8th grade parents. If you're planning on switching your kids' learning option for the spring semester, you only have one more day to do so. By tomorrow, if you'd like to make a switch from in-person learning to virtual or vice versa, you have to call your school to make that change. SPS Chief Communications Officer Stephen Hall says this step toward 4 days of in-person learning is actually paving the way for a return to regular 5-day seated schedules. If you don't plan on changing options, you don't need to do anything. You'll automatically roll over and continue as is for the next semester.
Just as we asked parents in the first semester to make their choice for the entire semester, we're also asking them to do that for the second semester.
We have more on what parents have to say about their decisions. Our full story is over on ozarksfirst.com. And some news from around the region for you, with hospitalizations expected to continue in Arkansas due to the coronavirus. One hospital is preparing for the increase. Data from the Arkansas Department of Health shows as of Friday, almost 9% of hospital beds in Arkansas are filled with COVID patients, while 28% of the state's intensive care units are caring for those fighting the illness. That's why Baptist Health in Fort Smith is adding on staff to the payroll.
We're just in the thick of it, so to speak, and I worry that if we let down our guard, it's going to be even worse in the spring, so the late winter, early spring.
The hospital says if it hits capacity, non-coronavirus patients will be sent to a sister location in Van Buren, Arkansas. The main goal, of course, is to not turn people away who need care. Going around the world for you now, authorities in Moscow have turned an ice rink into a temporary hospital to handle the increase of coronavirus patients. More than 1,300 hospital beds with oxygen tanks cover the ice rink's 400-meter speed skating track, with more than 100 doctors and nurses working there. The facility is currently treating about 600 people, with between 60 to 80 patients being admitted or released each day. Russia reported over 6,300 new cases just today. That's a record daily number for them as the country nears 23,000 total cases. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson is going into self-isolation after a second encounter with the virus. Health officials told him that he was standing too close to Parliament member Lee Anderson last week with no masks, and now Anderson has tested positive for COVID-19. Johnson, you'll recall, tested positive for the virus in March. He will still hold government meetings, though, and take part in Brexit negotiations as necessary during his isolation period. Police and protesters continue to clash in Lima, Peru, after the abrupt ousting of former leader Martin Vizcarra. Crowds have gathered in the streets to protest the Congress vote, with dozens of demonstrators detained after clashes with the cops. After protesters broke through security barriers, officers used tear gas to break up the crowd. The interim president has called for calm during the protests, but to no avail. And some other news around America. The Office of Police Accountability says Seattle, Washington officers acted appropriately when they used a baton to arrest two protesters earlier this year. A man and woman refused to leave the Capitol Hill protest zone as officers were clearing it out back in July. Body camera video was released, and that's what strongly influenced the office's decision there. The woman claims the officer's baton left her with a bloody lip and chipped tooth. The OPA concluded that she pushed the other protester toward police, and his elbow likely struck her, not the baton. Back to some more local news for you now. The Springfield Police Civilian Review Board may be getting bigger after the City Council meeting that's supposed to happen tonight. Council will be voting on expanding the board from 5 to 7 members. If passed, the process in which the board members are appointed will be modified, and the minimum qualifications for eligibility will be changed. Expanding the board was one of the demands presented by the Springfield NAACP just a few months ago. Springfield Public Schools say construction at the new Jarrett Middle School is officially underway. It's a $41 million school that will serve Central Springfield Middle School kids. This is part of the ongoing project SPS, which is doing after voters passed Proposition S back in 2019. The building is expected to open in August of 2022. Taking a look at a traffic alert for you this morning, the Scenic Avenue Bridge over James River Freeway will be closed for the next week as crews are repairing parts underneath the bridge. All lanes will need to find a different way there. Let's take a look now at what's coming up for you on CBS This Morning.
Coming up, more of former President Barack Obama's interview with Gayle King. He talks about the challenges all Americans face now. Plus, a look at the first female general manager of a Major League Baseball team. Coming up on CBS This Morning.
And we've got some trends happening right now, and what we're talking about, we addressed in the 5 o'clock hour. The Chevy Bolt is being recalled. GM says the batteries in about 69,000 of those electric vehicles can catch fire. These are the models that we're looking at from 2017 to 2019.
Kind of crazy.
Yeah.
I've actually looked at them before.
Really?
I can't remember if this is the one that's fully electric or has the mix, the hybrid. I'm not sure.
I don't recall either.
But these
are the models that have been reported 5 instances so far. 2 people suffering smoke inhalation too.
That's terrible.
And one
crazy.
one caught fire. Engineers are still working on a permanent fix there, so a lot to worry about with that. Also trending this morning, that's pretty surprising. Moderna is trending today, and you know they're one of the people that were working on a vaccine for the coronavirus.
Yes.
So this news has been announced within the hour that they say they have a vaccine that is 94.5% effective in fighting the coronavirus.
Because we've been talking about Pfizer a lot here
Yes.
on the day, and of course in all of our newscasts. But it's kind of, I know there's been a lot of people probably trying to get this bid going and continue to try to get get this vaccine the highest rate.
That's right. And so it's been really a race to try and get vaccines pushed out there. Russia made some claims last week that it had a vaccine ready to go, and they're hitting record number totals of cases. Europe's on lockdown, so there's a lot of it's a big mess happening still. We're just hoping that some of these vaccines, that some of these numbers are accurate, and that we can get something going, right?
Whatever company can get this vaccine out to the people as quick as possible is what we need as a country.
Yeah.
The weather-wise, Joe, it doesn't look too bad today, which is really nice.
Very good. That's what, and you know, a lot of things that people have said, if you're outside, away from people, that's the way to do it. And
Yes,
we still got
for
some
sure.
outdoor weather for November, right?
Yeah, social distancing outside, a great idea today. Temperature is going to be actually in the lower 60s, a welcome sight after what we went through on Saturday with all that active weather. So that's going to be a nice trend today, and that actually continues. Overnight will be calm and fairly quiet, light winds, 35 degrees, a touch warmer than what we were this morning. So I think you'll still want a jacket, but our 7-day forecast does show, Joe, 70s by the time we get into Thursday and Friday. So that's going to be a nice little rebound from this chillier air, but then of course, for the weekend, kind of like this past, we do have the chance for some more rain.
What a nice trend into the weekend, though, of just those increasing temperatures right there.
And I think Saturday, most of it will be dry, which will be good. If you have any outdoor plans, you should be okay, I'm thinking.
Great to see. All right, thank you, TJ, and thank you for starting your week with us on Daybreak. We're always on ozarksfirst.com.